どうも皆様、おはこんばんにちは、ヒーローでございます。下手でも関係ない楽しむだけだをモットーに、ヴァンパイア、続きをやっていきたいと思います。はい。前回の続きで、ようやく、自分のオフィスかな、拠点が、となる病院にやってきたというところでございますね。で、今回はその続きからで、ここにいる人たちともいろいろと会話をしていきたいなというところでございます。ちょっとお待ち。
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really?
Gwyneth.
It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
なるほど。ロンドンでの生活はどうですかと。もうさ、L1 でさ、催眠って出んのが嫌だよな。
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
見えない。
An invisible enemy? Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
あ、寝れてないのか。R2 をして詳細。
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
ああ、なるほどね。
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
疫病だけじゃなくて殺人事件も
Dr. Swansea has a gift
で
for
きちゃってる
recruiting
か
talent.
ら、病院自体ももう不安とストレスで生きまくってる
It
状
would
態
be
だね。
inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett. He should be a standard for us all here. If only
まあ
he
要
were
は医療
younger.
側の人たちもだいぶ
Why should his age be a problem?
参っちゃってる
I
状
guess
態で
it's
もある
fair
ね
to。say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
コーランティベッツの医師。なんか話してはすげえ
I'm
強
not
制的
familiar
感ある
with
け
all
ど
the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
なるほど。あ、ヒントが必要。なるほどね。うん。じゃあこれ以上は
Goodbye,
多分
nurse.
喋れないな。
Call me if you need assistance.
コーンブラッド。とりあえずちょっとここにいる人たちと会話をしていこう。多分いろいろと顔を合わせとかないと分かんない人が多いからね。多分情報を集めとかないとね。なんかすごい。
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this
Milton
shithole of a
Hooks.
hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
ああ、なるほどね。
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
なるほど。
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings.
地元の奴ら
Even
も
the
襲って
locals
くるの。
attack you.
苦労したみたい
It
だ。
sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here. I escaped through the hospital's
え、
garden.
ここに連れてこられた患者が襲われた
I
の？
was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital. That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
なるほど。新しいミッション。ああ、じゃあ会話をしながらもミッションが出てくんだ。
Goodbye, Milton.
あ、やべ、間違えた。
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
ついつい丸星さんを押しちゃうわ。
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
ああ、ここで銃が手に入ると。ミルトンのショットガン。普通のハンドル部品。ああ、なるほどね。こういうところで手に入れろってか。でもこれ購入、ああ、お金がいる。なるほど。ありがとう。ミルトンとは仲良くできそうだ。
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually,
知り合い
yes.
だったかい？
We met once before at the
ロックフェラー大学で一度お会いしてます。
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon
世間は
and
狭い
blood
ね。
transfusion specialist.
個人的な質問。ここはなし。じゃあ個人的な質問に関してはあれだね。どんどんと。
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
人々の方がずっと大事です
It's。more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
なるほど。
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
なるほど。ポジティブな特性と
Tell
は
me more about cherished people then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most
プラナガ
helpful
ン
and
看護師
dedicated
は
nurse、
貴
I've
重な
ever
存
worked
在で
with.
すね。
A clever and
頭が
cheerful
良くて
woman.
陽気
You
な女性
really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn
上ですよ。
fine practitioner.
さっきの女性だね。
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
なるほど。そういえばあなたは消耗している、疲れてるっていう話だけど大丈夫？
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No. We must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. Once more unto the breach.
Brannigan 看護師は心配して
Nurse
ますよ。
Brannigan is worried about you, Doctor.
She should not have told you that. I will have a word with her.
You don't have to blame her for her honesty.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear Jonathan. Actually, Nurse Brannigan's opinion is the only one I may listen to.
ああ、なるほど。
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
あれ、もしかして怒られるかな、俺。言うべきではなかった
Dr.
だろうか。
Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research. Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
あれだな、ヒント速攻で使うのはどうかなっていうところが今ので発覚したね。ちょっと気をつけよう。
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
疫病とインフルエンザなのか。
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
しっかり
You
するんだ。
must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
まあ、先が見えないとなかなか辛いよ
How
ね。
long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
驚いただろうね。
You'd be surprised what dedication can achieve, Nurse Hawkins. In medicine, sometimes we're just a test result away from a miracle.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
なんで不機嫌なの？
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
ほうほうほう。なぜ特に臨床医
Why
で
does
すか？
Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
なるほど。OK、ありがとう
Goodbye,。Nurse Hawkins.
ああ、いっぱいいる。もう話す人いっぱいいるわ。ちょっと待ってね。とりあえずまずは病院のあれだね、患者さんよりも先にドクターとか看護師さんと全員会話したいな。まああと自分の病室に行かないといけないんだけどね。ピッパ、あそこだな。いたいた。
It's locked. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague.
同僚
Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana.
ラケシュ・
I'm
チャ
just
ダナ
Mr.
医師
Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean?
ただの
You
チャダナ
used to be a doctor. Was your license
資
revoked?
格を剥奪されたんかな
It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while
死者
taking
の世
care
話を
of
し
the
てい
dead.
る間ささやかな
But I used to be
視
a
野を
real
もやってい
doctor.
ますが以前は本当に医者だったんです、ああなるほどねここは
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why should I?
まあ
These
ね
bodies are empty vessels.
確かに死体ばっかのところで気が休まるかっていうと
No soul anymore. All gone.
なるほど大抵の人は死体を怖がりますよ
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have a respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
ほうほうほうこの
How
仕
did
事
you
には
get
どうやっ
this
て
job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the
港の近
docks.
くで葬儀屋をし
A
てたんだ
dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a
あ
job
ミ
here.
ルトンに仕事紹介されたんだ
Do you work
ここで
here
一人で
alone?
働いてる
Yes,
のかい
very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
なぜ遺体を監視
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
ああなるほど身元不明者がほとんどなのかここ
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
ああなるほどね死体から疫病が発生する可能性もあるからか
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
妹からか聞いたのかなるほどね
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to
こんな
trade
ところ
with
で取引できんの
It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact,
なるほど
I think I only know good people.
客は選んでるし清潔にしてるよってことか
What
な
kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
なら医者しろよ人助けが好きならさどうしようここの会話ちょっと一旦置いとこうかな
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana. Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have
ス
such
トリ
good
ックランド
fortune.
医師
Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland. Dr.
ソロ
Thoreau
ストリッ
Strickland.
クラン
I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
ドリードさんほんと有名人なんだね
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed.
ファ
I've
ン
done
か
my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
なんだろうね、そのファンというかさ、こういう憧れてますっていう人はみんな早口になるよね。
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
おー、本当に
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
熱血感だね。
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
ああ、疫病のじゃあなんかやってんのかな。
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Do you need help with
何か手伝うことはないかい？
anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True, true. Last summer, during the
なんか
first
どっ
wave
か
of
から
the
かすげえ
epidemic,
ぐ
I
らい
used to
に
joke with Milton
お
about
ー
the
で
extra
男の悲鳴
work.
が聞こえるの気のせいかな。
We're not smiling now.
ここはでも解除されてるんだ。まあここの解除はまた今度だね。あれドロシーとは会話した。誰だ？おえ？
It's locked, all right.
You have the right to disapprove of our methods, and you will kindly apologize when you're feeling better.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been
い
informed
っ
about
ぱい
your
すぎてや
arrival.
ばいなこれ。
I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
過大評価された人間じゃない。うん、確かにその通りだ。
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
なるほど。嫉妬心は君のためにならないよ。そんな敵対心は必要ないよ。
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital instead of a burden.
なるほど。
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea.
このアクロイド
But
博
over
士
time,
博士
his
じゃないア
enthusiasm
クロイド
has
さんは
displaced.
こっちジョナサンに関してあんまりいい思いをして
Exactly
ないみたい
what
だ
are
ね
you
まあ
talking about?
We're here to save
ポットで
lives.
出来上がってって
The
感じなん
people
だ
who
ろう
trust
けど
us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
多くの命を救ってきた
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War
ア
only
クロイドさん
reveals
す
the
ごい
worst
攻
in
撃
men.
的だ
We can
な
at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
難しい方だね
Good evening, sir.
で
Doctor.
ここはさっきガチャって閉められたの一体何だったんだろうか関係者リストを調べよう。善と悪。ああで、紛失した素材。ああ、なるほどね。結構いるな、人。ちょっと一回一旦自分の部屋行く一旦自分の部屋行こっか。どこだ俺の部屋。あ、こっちか言われたところがわかんねえわ。これはスワンシー。
It's locked, all right.
まあそりゃ鍵かかっててもおかしくはないよな。
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes.
確かに
Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin. The flower's dying. It needs water.
おクラフト新しいレシピをアンロックするにはまず見つけた素材を分析しましょう。分析をクリックして素材を。あ、これか。即座にヘルスポイント回復し15秒後に450ヘルスポイントを自動回復します。
William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now.
やべえ、寝るまでにだいぶ時間かかっちゃった。これはまた長い文章だな。やべえ、人と会話するだけですげえもう動画1本分だよ。で、ちょっと気になってんのがオフザ武器。ああ、なるほどね。まあ寝ましょうか、じゃあ。よいしょ。力を解放するか。どうしようか。病庫。病庫。ヴァンパイアは獲物の血に力を集中させ、その場で彼らの動きを止め、無防備にします。動けないものの方が殺しやすいよね。そのさ、最後の一文何なんだ。ブラッドバリア。ダメージに苦しむことを恐れるヴァンパイアはハーディネスの能力に長けています。この能力はヴァンパイアを直接的なダメージから保護します。残念ながら敵に捕まることは防げません。捕まれることは防ぎだ。私を傷つけることはできる。ただし私を捕まえられたらね。ブラッドバリア。考えないですよね。で、スタミナ。ブラッド。能力よりもまずブラッドとかだよな。スタミナ。オートファジー。オートファジーってなんだっけ。これオートファジーそういうことか。でもな他バイトブラッドの上限ブラッドの上限か。これは戦闘中のバイトを使うとダメージが増加します。これをやっとこうか。バイトこっちは回復、自動回復もいいね。すげえな。これなんかデッドバイデイルードブラッドポイントみたいにやってんな。楽しいな。シャドウミストは1000、もう1000だがこいつらできないな。でもな一応じゃあブラッドの上限も上げとくか。一応他はまだいける。なんだこれ。ミスクなんだこれ。結成の数が増える。上げとこう上げとこう。増やせるもん増やそうぜ。とりあえずこれで OK かな。次の夜。結果だよね。結果な。主要地区イベント。あなたの行動によって地区の健康状態が確実するが悪化します。健康状態や市民に疫病が広がることで悪化します。主要地区イベント。あなたが命を奪うほど地区の健康状態は悪化します。地区の健康状態が壊滅的な水準を下回ると一体大混乱。地区の運命を決めるのはあなたです。おお、そっか。俺クレイ殺したからか。なるほどね。ちょっと考えないですね。だから正常化をするには殺しちゃダメだよってことだね。申告。 なるほど。
If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood?
なるほど。
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Dr. Swansea asked me to connect you, Dr. Reed. Hurry up!
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
危機的状
Our
況。
supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
What type of hospital are you running? No antiseptics?
You have been
Oh,
away
yeah,
too long, Doctor. With the war and now this epidemic, supplies have been running scarce for months now.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look
選
there
択肢間
first.
違えたかな。
Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then. Thank you, nurse.
うん。はい。というわけで、今回はちょっとここまでにして、次回はこの続きから、やっていきたいと思います。まあ、メインミッションと合わせて、サブミッションも出てきているので、それもまあ、ちょっとやっていかないとかとは思うんですが、はい。まあ、引き続きちょっとやっていければなと思います。ご視聴いただきまして、誠にありがとうございました。また次回の動画でお会いいたしましょう。またね。